Hey, you remembers back when YouTube was simple. I'm talking I could get away with showing some training footage, a little bit of a montage, and maybe just throw some shitty commentary on top of it. Very similar to what I'm doing right in this video, but I remember those times and I miss those times. Because these days, YouTube is very difficult. I'm talking about more montages, more jump cuts, more B-roll footage, more time lapses, more food vlogs. In fact, for some of us, more haircut vlogs. For me, the only really haircut vlog I would have to show you is me shaving my back, and I don't think that would go over very well. But YouTube's tough these days, my friends. So tough so, in fact, some of us have to take time off from it. What, too soon? I thought that was right on time. But what I want to talk about for myself is taking some time off in the essence. You guys may or may not have noticed I've stopped uploading videos as part of the meat prep series. And that's because, my friends, I'm sad to say I'm no longer prepping my meat. Well, at least not for those meats I'd initially mentioned. Now, you guys know from my constant bitching and complaining that I was dealing with somewhat of a little of a knee issue. So that being the case, I decided to postpone the first meet I had targeted, which was for early April, was an RPS meet in Connecticut. I'm no longer doing that meet just because I wanted to ensure that I'm getting a proper training cycle in first, get my head right, and get my knee right. And that's exactly what I'm planning to do. And training has been going very well lately. As you guys can probably tell, that my attitude has changed quite a bit. Now that brings us up to the second meet I was prepping for, which was a USAPL meet to be held at the end of May in Rhode Island. While ideally I would still like to do that meet because it would give me plenty of time to get a good training cycle in, my friends decided they wanted to get married in Florida and I have to go. And unfortunately, it's not even in the southern part of Florida where I could collab with Dark Lord Spaniard himself, as well as a few other people that I watched that film around that area. So, as of right now, I have no set plans to compete in meets. Although I do want to do it around that time, so late spring, early summer. I really got to sit down and start looking around. Chances might just be that I'll have to travel for this, which I'm okay doing. Ideally, I would like to do it in New England. If you guys know of any meets around those times that would fit my needs, please let me know. But that might be a little bit difficult only because I'm doing a lot more than just the Florida trip in terms of travel the next couple of months. So just to give you an example, I'm also going to be in Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Phippsburg, Maine, Seattle, Washington, and also the potential is there to go over spend some time in China as well as a brief tour of Europe, all for work and or personal reasons. And I say that only because when I do these travels, it's tough for me to get free a lot of times. I do manage to train in most cases. I pack my squat shoes, I pack my weightlifting belt, so I can train while I'm away. And that's one of the things I really enjoy doing is going to different gyms and if possible, meeting up with some of you. But it's tough just because the engagements that I have usually leave me with very little free time or a schedule that I don't really know until the last minute. So if you do want to do any of those meetups, if you are close to those areas, I'll try to keep you posted on my progress, when I'm there, where I'm training, all sorts of things. The best thing to do is follow me on other social media platforms that are more up to date. So I try to post that stuff on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on things like Snapchat these days, and even something called Tinder, which I'm not really sure how to use, but it seems to be the best place to meet up for collabs because people keep messaging me saying they want to meet me in person, so that might be the best place to follow me on. Although if I keep showing you these up short shots, you might not want to follow me whatsoever. But that's a good transition because it's finally time to talk about the training footage you're seeing. So started off doing high bar squats for a 3x8, then moved on to competition bench for a 3x8, and I've really been focusing on trying to control the weight more. These aren't true long pauses, but that's kind of tough to do when you're doing sets of 8 because I'd probably have to extremely drop the intensity some, but bench has been feeling really good as of late. After that, moved on to a 3x3 for low bar pause squats. And these are always interesting, especially considering that we did high bar squats earlier in the training routine. One of the things I want to focus on here as well is the fact that I do want to make sure that I'm pausing in the hole for at least a noticeable amount of time. And I say that because I've been guilty of this and I see it a lot on other people's channels too. Most of our pauses are not real pauses. The momentum stops just slightly, but I think to really get the most out of this movement, I want to try to stay in the hole for a couple of seconds at least, at least make it count so they know you were there. And I also try to get a bunch of different angles, so that's why you saw the up short shot before. I wanted to see how my elbows tracked and where my forearms were going. In this instance, I also want to see how my depth is going as well as just my bar path. And I think things are, again, going in the right direction, which is awesome for me because you guys know how much of a mental lifter I am and how much I get inside my own head. And I'm sure you guys can probably attest to doing the same for yourself. And although these things didn't look like they were moving very fast, these felt tremendously well overall. I was very happy with how they felt as far as out of the hole, the power, my knees, how they track. I haven't been really experiencing any knee pain like I had in the past couple of weeks. Been really trying to be proactive about it by icing it a lot, and it's really been paying off, so I'm excited to start bumping these weights up heavier as the weeks go on. And just to be clear, I do appreciate all the extra editing and effort people put into their videos because I know how time consuming it can be. I just didn't have that time on my particular video, so me talking shit just makes me feel better about myself.